just got done trimming my hair a little bit, and I wanted to talk to you just a little bit in regards to that and a couple other examples about the tactical quality of your appearance and style, the survival quality of your appearance and style. You see, we all choose styles to represent ourselves, whether they be some style that is a trend set already or something uniquely our own. Hopefully it's uniquely your own. But when we choose our style, we're doing so based on certain paradigms, certain values, tastes and whatnot that all occur within the social body that we have been conditioned in. And it can be anything from the people you hang out with, the scene that you partake of, the entertainment that you partake of, whatever it is, you find kind of a groove that you go with, and that's fine, and that's perfectly fine. But from a tactical or survival quality, you have to start thinking in terms of, is this tactically feasible? I use the term tactically because survivably is not a great term and not a great adjective to describe preparedness. Tactical is, but make no mistake, I'm really referring to your increased chances of survival. And in the sense of your style, you know, you've got two sides of survival. You've got basic physical, mental, emotional survival, which is kind of your primal set. And then you have your social survival, which kind of, you know, the mental and emotional stuff crosses over into your social survival. But social survival is basically how you interact with others and how well you exercise influence and how well you yourself are influenced by certain things and how you allow yourself to either accept or reject certain ideas. So, primal survival and social survival. And don't get me wrong, social really is primal. Our social roots go back to primal ideals. Much of it goes back to the mating instinct and the protection of one's property instinct. But for the moment, we're going to separate them out. Now, social survival, especially in modern civilized society, you've got a whole host of options that have nothing to do or maybe even averse to your physical survival or to your primal survival. Good example, my long hair. It's a catch point, especially for combat. As a martial artist, my long hair is a risk. There is no world in which it is an advantage. There's a cage fighter, or a few cage fighters really, that have long hair, and the question has been posed: is his long hair a hindrance or an advantage? And they sit there and debate it, and I'm telling you right now, it is never an advantage. Even if you gain a slight advantage psychologically, you still have a huge hindrance physically. This is a catch point. But as a skilled martial artist of many years, it is a risk I'm willing to take because it amplifies my social style. It helps me feel more me. It's part of my image. It's part of my being. I am a long hair. I preach the long hair gospel. I think people need to have some hair and do something with it. Does that mean you all need to have long flowing locks? No. My hair is not as long as some people's. You know, hair to a point where if I can't grapple with my hair because I'm laying on my own hair and pinning my neck to the ground, that's too long even for me. So I try to keep mine right between my shoulder blades, just above. You know, and for a little while, you know, I've been falling down and trimming it, and I was noticing recently that I was pinning my hair, and that wasn't so good. So I gave myself a trim. But I still enjoy having long hair. It's part of me, it's part of my identity, it's part of what I have decided that defines me. You may have a different look, a different style, and that's fine, but start analyzing. Is this a social tactic? Is this a survival tactic? Where do the two meet? Is this a risk I'm willing to take? You may see I wear earrings. These earrings, not too much of a worry. If they were a post or some kind of just like hard loop, like like some people have gauges and stuff, that's a major catch hazard and can tear. I knew a guy actually once that had his gauge ripped out and ended up having these two little dangly fleshy things for a lower earlobe because it got torn out on a tree branch when he was running. Fun, right? Is it a risk you're willing to take? If it is, go for it. Go for it. But analyze it yourself and ask yourself, is this an acceptable risk or not? It's not my place to tell you what you're willing to risk, but I want you to sit there and play with the cost-benefit analysis of it. Is your style a hazard to your survivability? Your immediate survivability really is more on the social side. We live in a very civilized world. Your primal survivability is the shit hits the fan survivability. It is the breakdown of society. It is the lost in the wilderness. It is there's a gas shortage and there are riots in the streets. It's that survivability. That stuff doesn't happen every day all the time, at least not here in the US and most of the civilized world. In some of the less refined, less technologically advanced parts of the world, unfortunately, there is that kind of stuff happening all the time. But depending on where you live, depending on the climate, depending on your social situation, you've got a million variables. So start just thinking, is my style helping? Is my style not helping? Saw today, great. Guy wearing tactical pants. They may have just been regular cargos, but they looked a little more high-end. Sometimes it's hard to tell. There are some actually tactically built pants that look like regular cargos. And oftentimes the purposely built tactical pants, some in the field, in the professional realm, refer to them as just shoot me pants, because it's a tip-off to some people that you have some idea of what you're doing. Now, with the widespread availability of such clothing, I'm not sure that's so true, but I understand their apprehension. However, this guy who was wearing tactical pants was wearing them hanging halfway off of his ass. Seriously, guys? Come on. Prison rape pants, not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. If I had to pick between, if it was mandatory that I had to have either, some kind of catch on my head, if I had to have the hazard of gauged ears or the hazard of pants, you know what? I'll take the hazard of the gauged ears, because it's more likely that I'm going to need to run away than it is that I'm going to have to get into a fight where I have to worry about somebody ripping out my ear. If you can't run because your pants are around your knees, it's kind of a problem, and you have to run more frequently than you have to fight. So start just thinking in terms like that, and please, pull up your pants. Good journey.